So I'm talking in this series about the 100-year commemoration of the sinking of the Titanic. And for me, it's a very, very profound story. It's one that I have a lot of intrigue about. I know a lot of people do. And so I'm glad to take the opportunity to kind of dive into the experience a little deeper and see what lessons it might be able to bring. So this is a series called The Lessons from the Titanic. Now, it's been said that the three most researched and written about topics of all time are Jesus, the Civil War, and the Titanic. So the Titanic's right up there as being a very significant event, one that many people are still obviously fascinated by. So the first question I want to ask is, why are we so fascinated with the Titanic? What is it about this story that seems to just capture the imagination of so many people? Well, I mean, there's a lot of things it could be. For example, it could be just the sheer size of the ship. For its time, it was obviously, the largest ship that had ever gone to sea, with state-of-the-art technology. It had this incredible reputation. A lot of very wealthy people were on board. So just from that alone, you might say, well, that's the reason. There were other ships that went down around the same time, but none with the stigma around the Titanic. But I think it goes a little deeper than that. And I think the fact that James Cameron has been so successful with his movie and now with the 3D version of the movie is indication itself that people are absolutely fascinated by this story. One of the reasons I think people love this story and it's endured so long is because of the amount of time between hitting the iceberg and sinking. And normally that would happen quite quickly, but in the Titanic it took just under 3 hours, which incidentally is about the same amount of time that it takes for a motion picture. So we've got this incredible situation for 3 hours if you can try and get inside the minds of those people who were there at the time. Imagine the scenario, imagine those 3 hours. Imagine the anxiety. Imagine couples and families who are being torn apart in this situation. Imagine the ethical scenarios that people were facing, whether to get in the boat, whether to stay and help. Which would be safer? Was it actually safer to stay on the ship? Imagine the romances, the corruption, the class issues, people being bought and sold and spaces on the boat being bought. There would have been so much going on in those 3 hours, which makes for a great movie, but more importantly, it mirrors our experience of life. The Titanic is in miniature what we all experience in our lives. The ups and the downs. We have those moments where things just feel titanically good almost. And other moments where it feels like our life is slipping away from us and we're drowning, we're sinking in the midst of the despair. So the Titanic is every person's story. It's a story of the ups and the downs. It's a story of heroes. It's a story of courage. It's a story of the part of every one of us that we want to know is there, that we want to believe that there's a part of us that is heroic, that has the ability to rise above the odds, above anything that could come our way, and live with integrity and live the life that we want to live. So the first lesson to me that comes out of this incredible story of the Titanic is that it's a story that is your story, and it's my story, and it's a challenge to see how we choose to live now.